Hey everybody, it's Wednesday, and this video might get out a little bit later than normal, but my dad is in the hospital, so I was there this morning, and things are okay with him, but it sort of ate up my morning, so getting this going now. Wednesday means that it's a day where I like to share information with you, and stuff that I figure out for myself and information I might learn on the internet or just in general about the keto diet. What I find interesting, and maybe you are experiencing this as well, is when you're doing the ketogenic diet and your spouse or your family or your partner or whoever you might be living with is not doing it, and the challenges and the compromises that come from doing that. It can be challenging, especially if you have a sweet tooth and your partner is eating sugar next to you. That is challenging. It's really it really tests your willpower, that's for sure. So I had my husband sort of write down some things that he feels with me doing the diet and him not doing the diet, and some things that I feel because he's not doing it, I'm doing it. And when we were doing this and I was reading it, I almost felt like couples counseling because there's like things on here that I didn't know was going on. So it's good that we got that out in the open, and it is good to really have communication with your family if you're doing the keto diet or really any diet in general, because on one hand you really need the support, and the other hand you really want them to just sort of live the way they want to live. And my balance with that is that I want to provide a model for just being healthy and eating in a way that is a healthy way of eating. And obviously there will be times where you indulge in carbs, and I say indulge instead of cheat because I think there's a lot of guilt associated with cheating on a diet. And I don't know about you, but I'm really tired of feeling guilt. I'm tired of feeling guilty about anything, especially about what I do with my diet. I am committed to living a healthy lifestyle and staying keto, but I don't believe in punishing myself if I have a little basmati rice with my Indian food once in a while, or I take a bite of a piece of cake. The thing is if you're doing this long term and you are being good and healthy and you exercise and you stick to your diet 99% of the time, you're still gonna see the benefits of your diet. So that's just me. Maybe you are a person where you have to stay super strict, or it's all over. It's kind of an all or nothing thing. I'm just saying, for me, I'm tired of kicking myself for making small mistakes, so I'm just not gonna do that anymore. So you just know that I'm the kind of keto dieter that looks at this very long term, and I am not opposed to adding a little more carbs to one meal. I don't think it's going to kill you. That's just me, so I just want to put that out there. So some of the things that my husband wrote, which I thought was very, very interesting, and some of this I expected, and some of it was a little surprising, was he feels guilty for eating sugar and carbs, which to me that's a normal thing. If you have a spouse that's not doing keto, they're going to feel guilty for eating that in front of you. And my frustration is not so much him eating the candy, it's like when we're at like a family gathering and it's a birthday and everyone's having cake and you can't have it. That's the frustration that I have. That's where I start to feel the willpower really having to kick in, because that's tough. So he said being mindful of not talking about sweets or carbs. So maybe saying, gosh, I really could go for Dairy Queen in front of me. He's feeling like that would not be appropriate, and he feels guilty if he accidentally says it without thinking. And I totally get that. You know, there are some things that are more difficult than others when he talks about foods that I can't eat. So that was a little bit of a surprising thing for me. Now what I worry about with him is he's not doing keto and I am. And I am basically the woman of the house, the stepmom of the house, and I tend to buy the groceries and kind of make lunches and breakfasts and stuff like that. And there are a lot of keto foods that that he likes, so he partakes in those meals with me, but then he'll have dessert right after. So my concern is that he's eating this high-fat diet and then also having sugar. So that is my fear, is that that's really overdoing it on his part. He is also a night owl and a late night snacker, and I think he feels guilty about doing that. I have been very diligent with the 16-8 intermittent fasting, so I start eating around noon and I stop eating around 8, and I think sometimes he feels guilty about eating past that because he's eating in front of me. That really doesn't bother me. I feel bad sort of making him feel shameful for wanting to eat something sugary because I can't. And I try not to do that, but I know sometimes I do, so I feel bad about that. This going along with, you know, being mindful of carbs is, we are an Indian food family. We eat Indian food, I would say 3-4 times a month. I think we'd probably eat it more often if we could. But a lot of Indian food has carbs in it with the chickpeas and the potatoes. And I think he feels bad not being able to prepare these foods the way he's used to preparing it because of me. So that I didn't know about. That you know, to me, that doesn't bother me. You know, I know that if you cook with potatoes, you're probably getting a little bit of the starch, but I can always pick that stuff out. One thing I worry about is when we go out to eat and I have to all of a sudden analyze the restaurant and figure out what I can eat there, because a lot of places there aren't a whole lot of choices for low carb that are actually good. I mean, you can get a salad anywhere, but you don't always want a salad. So I feel like kind of a buzzkill when my family wants to go to a restaurant that, you know, is very carbolicious, and I'm like terrified to go there because I feel like there's really not going to be anything for me there. So I feel a little selfish about that, but it is what it is. On the plus side, the keto diet has really given us a fun project to work on together with the channel. I am not electronically smart or gadget friendly at all, and Neil is very much an expert in most of that stuff. So not only am I grateful that he is able to help me, but he really gets into it, and he really wants to help me with the content and, you know, creative ideas and all the graphics and everything. And so it has been a really fun project for us to work on together. I like the way that he is proud of me, and that the way that he looks at me when I have a success, and just kind of the way he looks at me in general. I think when you start to have success in any diet and you start to see results, you naturally start feeling more confident. That's just, I think that's a natural occurrence when you are on the right path and you start to feel the happiness and feel that joy of your you know, you're staying true to your diet and exercising and seeing the results. So I do like that. And to be honest, I think it's improved our physical relationship, that we are both feeling good about each other, and that always is a win-win situation. And I feel like when I started doing this, there may have been a point where he was looking at this like, okay, maybe this is just something she's trying, and maybe it won't be something that she sticks with. And because I have stuck with it and I have had success and I am committed to it, I think he's inspired to be more healthy, that he's inspired to take on some of the things that I'm doing for his own health benefit. He's doing some intermittent fasting, which is fantastic. And I just want to say one thing about the intermittent fasting. To me, it's a game changer. And I'm not sure exactly why it is, but it is. Let me just give you an example. When I was doing keto without the intermittent fasting, I was always thinking about my next meal, always sort of thinking, what am I going to eat? What can I eat? How much of it can I eat? When you have some bad habits with food becomes kind of the forefront of your thoughts a lot. And you're constantly thinking about the next time that you can do it, that you can partake. And when you intermittent fast, you sort of whittle away at that urge, because it's almost like a strict road blockade for your brain, saying, you know, you cannot eat between this time and this time, and don't even think about it. And for me, that is really helpful in a strange way. Maybe you have that experience too. Comment if you have. I'd love to hear stories about why you intermittent fast and why it works for you. But it really does help me to stay on track. And because I only really have to track 2 meals a day on the keto diet tracker, it makes it a lot easier and a lot less time consuming. Plus, it's easier for me to plan meals when I only eat 2 meals a day. So let me know your thoughts if you are with someone who isn't doing keto. If you guys have any tricks of, kind of maintaining a balance, and if you find that things are really hard, I'd love to hear about your stories. So far, I have to say that nothing about me doing keto and him not doing it has influenced me where I haven't wanted to do it. It's just you have moments where it makes it a little more challenging, and you find that your true willpower kicks in. And I guess that is kind of a scale of your strength and how committed you are to the diet. So I hope this was helpful. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and we will see you Friday for my weigh-in. Have a great rest of the week.